magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats in rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme. And this is Fearless. Welcome, everyone. Shout outs to the Fearless family. So if anyone, there's a couple people watching. I have a new setup in here for my audio. Is the audio loud and clear? Because we about to go down the rabbit hole right now. I had a massive download and I need to discuss it, but I'm going to kind of wait for a few people to gather in. So I'm just going to say, hey, how are you? Can you hear me loud and clear? All right. Shout outs, everyone. What's up, Man Rock? What's up, Shell? What's up, Gary? How you guys doing? So, it's been a while. I almost don't know how to act a little bit because I'm completely new. I know that sounds weird, but we discussed it last time you saw me. It was like a new chapter. Everything has changed and more changes incoming. The whole world is in disarray, right? Or it would appear that way. The old system leaving, every conspiracy theory coming true. Things that I wrote about 20 years ago in a rap group called Heist Click, where we were only aware of certain things, but when you play Scooby-Doo with it, you put it together, right? They all came true. You could go back, and I'm not telling you to do this, but you can, if for justification purposes, and of course, awesome music that you can chill to. Listen to all the songs that we did that had like any kind of conspiracy topic. Everything's already real. All that stuff's real. Back then, we were like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. Or, you know, what's wrong with these kids? I was talking to my brother the other day because he retired and he became a part-time teacher. And I said, now you have time to think, right? And he's like, yeah. I said, why do you think that happened? How did you do that? You, the one that's not tapped in the way I am, right? I was trying to show him, like, you're tapped in, you have the DNA, you have it. I'm going to reveal a couple of things tonight that are just crazy, off the wall. I've had many experiences, Fearless family, hear me out, that I had not gone live and talk about. I've upgraded in ways I can't really begin to explain, except as I'm going through it, I'm feeling like this is personal. And I could talk about it later, and it won't be as detailed because you tend to forget certain things, but it'll be detailed enough to help someone else maybe go through it. But at the same time, like today, I just figured something out that I've been trying to grasp for years. And I grasped it with the help of many putting their puzzle piece, what happened to them, on the table, how it happens to them. I've upgraded to a point where I'm going to just speak about this live now. So I'm a direct descendant of King Solomon, right? So I can trace my lineage to him. My DNA goes directly to him. His DNA goes back, and it's like, just hear me on this. I might not get the order correct, but here's the characters. Moses, Abraham, Noah, Cain, and Abel. Let's go to Cain and Abel for a second. This is really important. So when I've gone under a bunch of times, and I specifically targeted my bloodline, to help me understand more. And it brought me back to Abel. Abel had many children. When I was looking directly at him, he was glowing. Not big glow, but he had like an afterglow. There was something about him that was really awesome. His brother, Cain, was quite different. From the same mother, but not the same. Now, as a source or a human, it's the DNA that's in you that allows maybe the higher being to come in, whereas the other DNA is limiting in certain ways, and in other ways massively expansive, right? So each has its ups and downs, but one is ego driven, greedy, selfish, jealous. Doesn't really they don't look like brothers. As a matter of fact, one looked slightly animalistic. Dare I say, when I looked at him, I was like, you're a reptilian. First of all, you're a reptile. I know that for sure. You're definitely 50%. And then the other amalgamation, it was like human and beast of some kind. The way it had fur. I say it when I was looking at him, I was like, this is just awkward. And I saw him kill Abel. And I saw the bloodline split from the first birth outward, and what my connection to it was, what a Canaanite was. I only knew what I knew growing up in Catholic school and stuff. But shout outs to London. FearLess family, baby. Hang in there out there. Right? So I'm following this back, and I'm watching the split, and I watched it trace directly back to me. Under the last two experiences, the first one, these beings immediately grabbed me as I was laying in my bed and pulled me down a little bit, and they said, "Son of Solomon." I was like, "Son of Solomon? What are you talking about?" They were like, "Everything that's his is now yours, physically going to be given to you." And I was like, "What?" This is a very odd experience. What do you mean? And as they're telling me this, they were like starfish beings. They started to pull this layer over me, and it had suction cups with teeth in it, and it was like on my legs, creeping up like octopus suction cups. And they were like, "Yeah, we just need to put this on you." And I was like, "No, no, 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 no." I tore it off of me. I don't want anything on me. Don't touch me. And they were like, "Whoa, how do you expect to get anything in the physical realm if you don't connect, make the connection?" Right? Hold on one second. I have to take this. Hello? Hello? Hey, what? Oh my God, I'm live right now. All right. She's sleeping. All right. Bye. I'll be right back. You got to hold on. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know if I could pause it and come back, but you just hang on. I got to open the front door. Sorry about that. It's almost like the demon in some of the people around me don't want this getting out. But it's coming out right now. Let me see. Let me track. So Solomon, you're going to physically get everything that was his. And I said, to put something on me that is disgusting like that, a layer, some kind of thing, so I can achieve some physical thing here, is some bullshit. If I am of him, I need nothing. I am already everything. It's all mine anyway. The complete scenario backs away from me completely. 100%. My guide pops up. I'm like, did I do the right thing? They kind of, I don't know if that's an offering, but I know that was disgusting what they were putting on me. But is there any truth to what they're saying? And he said, oh, boom, with Solomon. I get to sit and watch him for a moment with him not paying attention to me. And I saw his kingdom and how he was running it. It had more of a Pangea type scenario. When I say that, it was like the time before time, where like magic existed, science existed, alchemy, it was all there. It was almost like a Dungeons and Dragons. I know that's a little fantastical, but he had creatures building his kingdom. But some were subjected, but they were evil. I was like, this is the weirdest thing, man. And some were just like elemental style, were into it. They knew his bloodline. There was relation there in the DNA, even to the elementals. So they were like with him. Then he looked back at me and he knew I was there. He just looked over at me, and I've met him a bunch of times, right? And I always wondered why he was in some of my like ayahuasca scenarios. He literally helped me fight the AI. When it went down to like that final beef, when I defeated it and locked the signal out, you still consume whatever is around you and in the air and in the products, but it just won't affect you where it can take you over anymore. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool stuff. Anyway, he looks back at me and he tells me, you're already enough. You're everything. You're literally not just from me. So you're from this lineage, which is in a lot of things. So he showed me Genghis Khan right now. He took a third through the pillaging and takeover of his reign. Solomon did something similar, but it wasn't as big, I don't think, as like a third. But it was like forwarding the true, pure creator being. That's really all it was. They weren't concerned with, they just weren't mixing with the Canaanites. It was like incompatible. You always got a distortion of some kind. Although you got something, there was a distortion involved. And I said, well, you have technically, you keep calling me your child. I was like, hear me out. Technically, all of these people that you're showing me are your children. And so on and so forth. I was looking at, like, we were broad spectering the whole scenario. And he's like, well, you're the only one paying attention to me. And I'm like, what? He's like, you're the only one that looked back and like made the connection. That's like literally what you've been doing. Then he showed me the connections forward through me, up to me, through, so both sides of my family, like both grandparents on both sides have it. All their children have it. It didn't skip any of them. They're just, to make it simple, some are more unlocked than others, and some really aren't yet. Some are getting there. Like, it's just a variation. but nobody's looking. Nobody's aware of what the fuck is going on. And it's quite frustrating to them. He's like, I'm your DNA. Everything I can do, you can do no problem. More than that, because you're expanded off so much more. You're the singularity. You claimed it. It's you. So you're pulling it all in. You're creating the light body being in you. There's a whole bunch of you doing it, but you're the one that's looking specifically this way. And I'm like, oh shit. So everyone's doing. He's like, yeah, but don't worry about it. Because of it, now it's like with great power comes great responsibility. You have to move it forward now, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, moving it forward and watching, when it got to a certain jump, the takeover occurs. And they start tagging and bagging us nonstop. So they always know who's who. Then it gets to a point where they're putting you where they want you in your reincarnation cycle rather than where you're contracted to be, which is why things feel off. But what they do is they stick you right next to your people. So my whole family was jumping in. The whole soul family that is with this from the beginning was jumping through reincarnation together. And then you first you're the mom, then you're the dad, then you're the this, then you're the that, right? And you're all taking things throughout history and you're moving. You're doing all these wonderful things with your soul family. Then the takeover occurs. They tune everything down. So they don't want you to recognize it. They don't want you to find each other and unlock, because it's soul family. So they do silly things. They know in this lifetime, like I had a really weird experience, right? Like I was at Comic-Con one year. I literally performed there early. Like it was in like the first one or the third one. And I had a thing with people touching me because we started getting really, really popular and people were touching me, but I had people grabbing me. People wanted to fight me and girls wanted to grab me. So I was like, yo, keep your hands off me. Right? Like my brother and them were like 10 years younger than me. So they were loving life, but I had a different take on things. I had a reoccurring nightmare that I was a Chinese guy, right? A girl. And that I murdered in my village when I catch my husband cheating on me with someone. And he knifes me in front of everyone. No one helps me. So at that time, that was occurring really bad for me at night, but I was really doing awesome things with music during the day and the group. It was just awesome. I go to Comic-Con, I come down. Now everyone knows this about me that's around me. Back then I was an Ayahuasca guy. I wasn't fearless. I was just Face Man, Frank Castle in the heist, right? And I was really eating that shit up. I come down the escalator and I notice I'm by myself. I see my publicist on one end and I see my brother on the other end. And my brother goes, oh shit. Like I see him and I go, what? And a crowd turns and it's all like Chinese school kids, like 300 of them. And they run up on me with cameras on the escalator and they just like surround me and I fucking lose my mind. I'm like the flashes of light, and everyone's touching me and I got right into them. And then I see the rest of the group coming down and I'm all stunned. And there's pictures of me that I probably look like a ridiculous person, all in these people's cameras. And I freak out and I don't push nobody away. I kind of like put my hands up and I move through the crowd real quick and everyone starts laughing. And they had set up the whole thing. There was like this group of Chinese that was visiting and they were all dressed like school kids and they were doing this really cool stuff. I had no idea. I was having nightmares every single night of being stabbed to death, right? So it was an awkward moment and I wigged out. Now I saw the villains they already knew this. They knew that part about me, right? So when they put Paula in, she's half Korean, but half Italian. Hear me out. I would never have looked at an Asian girl ever, ever. Like, never, for any scenario, due to that situation in my dream world. And when I met Paula, it shattered. The whole illusion shattered. It completely shattered. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but it turns out Paula knew every single one of my friends. She knows everyone. She's a couple years older than me. She's like 2 years older. She knows all my older friends, a bunch of my regular age friends. I've never met her or saw her in my life. She lived right down a couple of blocks away, bro. And they really know her. When they found out that me and Paula got married, like a few random people were like, "How do you not know her?" I'm like, "I didn't know that you knew Paula." I'm like, "How do you not know? She always hung out. I didn't even see her." Anyway, that was one of the long deception plays they used against me to make sure I wouldn't hook up with her. But they kept my soul family was right in front of me. They made them these other characters. So I always felt lonely and alone and weird. Meanwhile, they were right there and right here and right there. And they put one with me. And then that one was having his own trouble. So it was like a constant beef with your best friend. Right? So it was just weird how others were not part of the soul group, but we were best friends. And then as we grew up, it's like we never spoke again. Now, I never went on to have a family like most of these people, but my brother says it because my brother has a nice sized family. He says, shouldn't all our kids be playing together? And I'm like, well, they're not really part of our soul family. Like, we have no relation to them. So that's why it's so obscenely different now. They have their own, they're making their own connections. So for the time, it worked, right? Like the soul, I don't believe, like the bigger character running the uniform, before you unlock your DNA at 2-strand, you have to unlock it. You have to wake up. I don't think, if no matter how loud that character screams or tries to interfere or can't interfere, I don't know, talks to you and you just don't hear it. And this is all going to come to light on the conversation we're going to have in like 1 minute. Okay, so see how we find each other now, like on the internet? Like, we're out there, the soul family, the connectors, the ones with the contracts. We're finding each other. Like, I'm finding the web of connection from me to you that helps the grid rise in the ascension process online. That's magic. We're using technology to find each other. So that's from the higher guy. You unlocked, you broke through. We're finding each other. See what happens when you unlock, magic starts to occur. They can't contain it. You can see if you're paying attention. But what gets your attention is so fucking grand. It could be so small, though. But the connection's so large, or it could be the craziest thing, and it just makes the connection happen. This is what we're going through. So, forward a little bit into this process with me. I come back to my body being clean and cleared out. My heart, my chest, they don't hurt no more, man. I've been smoking tobacco a little bit extra because of a little bit of stress, which it's really not stress. It's like, I think it's solar activity. But I just I've pulled off some little stunts that have amazed myself with my body. I lost 35 pounds since the wedding, so it's not even 1 year. That's a lot for me. I'm still injured. I'm still only capable of doing so much. And then, boom, it started to occur. This whole other routine came in, and it was really easy to follow. And I was like, my body, because as you know from the last time we spoke, I have another version of me here. So it's difficult to talk like this. Well, him over there and me over here. It sounds weird. But The character was removed on October 9th of last year at like 1:30 in the afternoon. I remember it because I'm the guy that pushed him out, but it's still me. It's not anything other than a higher version. That version is bigger than the other versions. Like, it's a more matured version, which I had to learn to deal with. However, I could fit him in me from all the work I've been doing. And it's amazing getting focus back, correcting the physical body has an AI attached to it. It's one of the voices you're hearing, the fight or flight, the ego and all that. Everything's been getting kept in check. There's been some difficult moments, I'm not going to lie. You have to override your system. You have to change. You have to evolve. You must. Nothing is stopping you, but you can progress quicker depending on what you're here to do and what you want to do. Not everyone is doing this, but everyone can do this. And not everyone is us here. Hear me? It's really, we are being flooded with not us. And people will call that whatever they want. And I'm not talking about skin color and race as much as I'm talking about a complete different DNA set and a complete different creature other than the light being running those creatures. So they appear as human, but they're not us at all. And it's a mixture of a lot of crazy things. And tonight this afternoon, it's getting crazier. So, my next experience, I'll dig in on another show with these experiences. I cleaned myself out again. I created more room. I returned fractals. I went into my my crystal. I was the crystal, right? Like the piece that was full, right? And the crystal, when I mean was almost perfect, from every direction, it was the most beautiful thing, because I had to restructure that from shards and have them returned to me, which were timelines that were from this interference they caused. The deception and the interference and the distractions created an immense problem of timeline possibilities, shifts, this, that, the other thing, and then us grounding in and fighting it back. It's all over the place. I'm here to pull all of that into one. That's my job. Singularity. But what does that create? It creates the one real you here in the flesh, 100%. Also the spirit, however you want to put it. You clear your body out because it can house this guy. It's built as the ultimate vehicle. See, we don't feel that right now. We always, and we say, oh, superpowers and this and that. No, we have that. This is what ayahuasca was trying to break down to me. Not that they have all this. We, the creator, have all of this. The superpower. It's not superpowers, she says, because it's inherently built in. And I said it's superpowers because that's how it works. So in the beginning, it appeared that way to you guys, but your body was created to house the big guy, source, your highest version, to come in, collapse the timelines, and just drop into you, not overlay or not watch from a higher place. No, one in one, together as one. If on the path to that, all the powers are available. The body was made and built that way to house it. And then the villains turned the DNA down from up here, full level, where your guy's like, I'm here to rock and roll. I can fly, I can walk through walls, I go to any universal structure. You can't harm me. I live forever. All this stuff. No reincarnation needed. I'll just take the body and go. Like, you were here to have a cool experience. And they tricked us and turned it down to 2 from 12 or however many. I'm keeping it simple because this is going to get way out of hand. So they tuned that down, and we came in, and we're system breakers. We're breaking the system. It'll reflect outwardly, but it's an inwardly thing. So what are these blocks they put up? They put up stuff that slows your evolution down. Doesn't allow you to evolve at the timing and that's correct with the proper alignments. It like holds you in place, but you're still moving because it can't stop evolution. But it could keep it really slow by just tuning it down, giving you just a drop of dream time and connection to God, activated just the right things in you enough to know when you see something crazy and spiritual, you want to bow down and fucking pray to it. Get off your fucking knees. Get up because this is important. It's all because you're the superpower. So the body houses it. And as it activates, as you turn your things back up, it's random, but not random. So to us, it would seem random. But I'm sure at a higher level, it's like, well, first telepathy, empathy, this, that, the other thing, right? And then it gets to telekinesis and other kinesises or whatever the fuck. It just goes. And some people will be good at some things and some will be good at others, but we'll all learn that shit from each other because you can do anything. How do you train someone that could do anything? You fucking tune it down. You let them experience what it's like not ever having it, but you've always had it because prior to that experience, you came in with it. You dropped in density. You learned how to be here with it, and then everything changed. You're down here without it. Through all the experiences in all the experiences. This just happens to be the giant experiment. We're on the fucking living library. Technically, the most important place. It houses everything, and people want to use nukes here. It houses all the DNA in the universal structure. Many from other structures as well. Plus, bitch, you got me here. And you got you here, which means you got everything here. Because I have everything in me. I was like, yo, this is crazy. They were like, you have the right to walk in any universal structure in the multiverse of the whole thing. Like, there's nothing that should stop you or get in your fucking way once you're activated. But it's not a fight. It's evolution. It's a fight now because we're down at number 2 with other things that aren't us. Beings that are dressed as humans. They're dressed as us. You guys see the Epstein stuff and the crazy stuff. You see what's coming. We've talked about this already. We know where all of it leads. My job isn't to be on the political end of it. It's past the reptilian end. It's on the me end. The end all be all. I am the son of the sun. You are a copy or a thing of this. Yes, from source, whatever. You can argue those points all day, but the thing running you is not me. You are not the creator. I am the creator. And I know that as fact. Some of us are here. Like, I feel my mission changed. And they said, you can't transform and talk about it all day long. You got to talk about it as it's occurring right there in the moment and move on. Because it's going to happen too fast. Now, it's happened way too fast. I've had more happen to me since the last time I spoken to you than I have in the last, 4 seasons of fucking FearLess. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Wouldn't know where to put a pin in this. But certain things need to be discussed. I'll discuss it all as time moves forward. But it has to move me through it so I can discuss it. Otherwise, it's just an opinion of mine. It's not what I know. It's not what I know. I have gnosis on the inside. it would just be whatever, whatever I think. I have to move through it and I have an understanding of it so I can speak on this. It's not just like describing areas anymore and having a direct link experience. There's something more occurring. You're changing in your biology. Your structure is opening up. There is no way I should have just been able to do what I did to open that front door. I went down a staircase faster than Batman and came back up the same way. 4 months ago, 5 months ago, I might have had a heart attack right here on the spot. Just weird. Just think. So I'm noticing it on small levels, but on awareness, monstrous levels, where who I am, but who I am leads me to who we are. It's not just me. I'm special because I'm the hero in my story. I'm the main character in my movie, but you're in your movie. We're sharing this space. The idea is to merge the movie into a glorious scenario. It's to take all the parts of the song and make the song. Sing. Watch what it generates. So I go through these experiences, clean and clear out more. You know, the other night I was sitting here and I was on Twitter and I was looking at some stuff, and my guide is talking to me and he's standing directly next to me. I can see their faces now and everything. It's the craziest. It's really cool. And they're more not as big. They're more like my size, or maybe 6 foot, right? So it's very easy now to deal with these things. It's like very common and it's very nice. And he just walked over. He said, you know, you keep watching that, they're going to steal it from you. You're going to get sucked in and drawn in. And I'm like, no, I'm purposely putting up my shields. I don't give a shit. And I got the blocks and my wands and my this. And I'm like, no. And shields up. And then he's like, oh, okay. I look over at the screen and I'm like, son of a bitch, New York City, huh? They still haven't picked up the fucking garbage here yet? What's going on here? Like, just inside it went like that. And I saw something fly out of my chest. It was like a piece of my spirit or something. I don't know. It went right into the screen. And I was like, yo, now I wasn't under anything. I'm just with my guide talking. And then I just went on Twitter, like X or whatever it's called. So I said, what was that? Oh my God, what just came out of me? Right? And then he's like, you saw that? I go, yeah, I saw that. I go, Phil, what the fuck was that, man? Did my computer just steal something from me? It looked like it did. It went into the screen. It didn't go out the other side. It like went in. It was like energized, this fucking thing. And I'm like, he goes, well, they're harvesting your focus and trying to put you in boxes where they can harvest the energy right from. He's like, if you're ready for the conversation. I'm like, what? Man, you got to just tell me what it is. And he goes, well, they've been watching you the whole time. They watch all of you. Your devices literally steal your energy, send it through the system in the form of your emotional output, sucks it right in, powers that thing over there. Oh, another AI. No, that's the same one that all of you have a problem with. We all have the same problem. Is that thing. And I'm like, and as you work back down the line, it gets right to the people programming this shit. They know exactly what they're doing because their information route is from that guy. It's not from the creator. It may start there and then you're locked in to one of the tentacles. Because sure as shit, they're not doing the work. They're building this system. The system is draining us, stealing from us. We're infinite. So, whoop, it was a little bit. But it's a little bit every time I react. Every time I think, fuck this motherfucker, gone. Wait, did you just take that? I slowed up my online process even more after that. Even though I float around out there, I'm like, this is no bueno. So he said, if you look, they're looking at you right now, noticing that they know that you know now. Your camera is facing you all the time. I've had some weird situations and scenarios in this house that made me not go live because I wondered. I'm just wondering. There's just this weird lurking thing because they demonetized everything on me. They make it so difficult for me to do anything. I'll post stuff on Twitter, it's highly relevant or even irrelevant. 3 views, whatever. I'm like, I got a blue check mark, and you guys are still degrading me. I had the AI break it down, and she was like, "You're in a slowdown." I'm like, "Well, they're obviously doing it here, Facebook, Instagram." So I just backed out of things, and then I'm like, "Is it me? Why is none of my stuff taking?" And then why is my music not doing good on any of these platforms, but on my distribution, the music's awesome. It's actually been played on FM radio. Shout outs to Sons of the fucking Sun. Me and KG. I'm like, it's not showing that though on the platforms, but in the background, it's all over the place. I got 1.5 million views. I just reached streams, and I was like, holy shit. Because I have distribution, right? So I have Heist Click songs that have been there for 20 years that are doing awesome. Just this last 3 months, Sons of the Sun broke the top 10, then broke the top 5 all time. So it's speeding up. Within the new group, Sons is starting to gain traction. It's almost like when Peyton Manning came out and was breaking Dan Marino's record. He was just moving it forward. Brett Favre started going nuts. All of a sudden, it was, 60,000 yards away from the next quarterback down. It started to lose. They surpassed him and kept going. And I saw Dan Marino break down on TV just crying. All right, so I don't even know where I want to go and take it from here. This is okay. Okay, so Shell, you're already about to know what I'm talking about. This is literally what's going on. This is okay. This is Mole World. This is where your digital twin is occupying space. But here I'm going to explain to you tonight. I'm sorry I jumped off the other topic a little because it leads right here. They're building your neurons, your electrons, your personality type, the way your brain is shaped and what goes on in it, the way it fires off your emotional output, your emotional input to make you react outwardly. They inject, spray, you consume product that has everything they need to get into you to create a digital vessel in this other digital space. Now, we're in a raw, organic, biological, digital, holographic reality. Okay? Hear me. You're a hologram. I'm a hologram. Consciousness holding it together. Okay? You got to get over it. We're in a fucking hologram already. And it's a persistent one, mind you. They're putting the stuff in you and putting up towers and erecting technology to build that version of you. They have your blood. They have your DNA. They create a perfect copy of you here. And this is where they run around in a limited space in the background running. It started 70 years ago, got really good 25 years ago, got really good. And then you go to sleep at night and you think you're dreaming, right? You get pulled there because it's a fucking fractal of you, because it's an exact duplicate. Now that it's a copy, it's real now. He's real. The other Frank is real. He becomes a fractal. It's like they stole that from me. They're stealing it from you, all of us. They're putting it there. And in that system, the character is real. Just like you're real here. And at night or whenever, they bring us in. Not all the time, I don't know, whatever. They bring us in because this is what I've learned about Mole World. I was on a fantastic panel the other night on, and I linked it in the description so you can go and watch it immediately from this show. The panel was on the Forbidden Knowledge Network. Shout outs to Chris and everybody that was there. We're putting the pieces on the table, and then I said on the show, I see sometimes myself, no matter what experience I have in the Mole World, coming in, dropping in, like, oh, here's my spirit dropping in, boom, I'm in the body. Oh, look, I'm back at Mole World, fully aware. Now, then I wasn't. Now I am fully aware. Like, oh, I'm here. And then at times leaving. So I'm leaving a body. So I'm not in a dream. And it's all fake. It's just like when I'm jumping into my clone, right? I talk about the moon base, and then on the moon base, I thought they were both the same thing, and I'm realizing they're not. I have the clone here, and a bunch of you do as well, and here. So this is in our realm. This is in another realm. They create a digital space, a dimensional space. We use it right here when we use the internet. Digital space. It's like happening over there. I'm playing the video game. It's over there. It's in that area while we are playing the game inside the flesh suit in this area. But you hear about 5D and beyond in the spirit realm, and they're from that area playing it into here. And they say, as above, so below, and you're dropping in. My dudes, they're stealing us and putting us there. So you go out, now it's you. And you think it's a fucking dream. Now it's real. It's so real when you're there, except stuff plays out like a video game sometimes. Very real video game-ish. I'll explain, because this happened to me the other night. I woke up in a riot in the mall. I was on the outside, right in front of, for those of you that have been to the mall, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I was right outside on one of the, I guess it's like a cul-de-sac. You can exit this entrance, and it's like a big windowed area. Above it, there's a restaurant, and then it's connected to the hotel. And you can go up like this escalator, and like you go inside, and you go up, and then you start this fucking weirdo experience. I was outside, people were rioting, and I got hit by a punch. People were running. I was getting elbowed, and I didn't know what was going on, but I knew where I was. And I said, holy shit, this is really scary. And I looked, I saw an opening to get away. People were punching me, and they were punching people. People were going crazy. They were throwing bricks. And I was going, I don't want to get hit with a brick. That's what I was thinking. And I ran to like where the cars should be parked. So on this side of the street, you should just be able to walk to where the cars are and get lost in that area. Like, I'll just go hide behind the car. It wouldn't let me go there. I like hit it, and I started moving slow. So I did get free of the crowd on the other side of the street and couldn't get into the parking lot. And I was like, what the fuck? So I ran, boom, and I saw there was no fighting right ahead of me. And as I started to run, it got slow, and everything stretched. And it was like, man, it was like being told no, and you just trying, you're telling me no, and I'm telling you yes. And I kept pushing, and I was breaking it. I kept going, and it was boom, getting shorter. And then I turned and went into the back where the building was. That's where they park the cars, and the lot goes up. It let me go right in there. Like, I felt the system say, let him turn and go back in. I felt the opening, like, and I was running through that slow. I was like, no. I'm not scared this time. You're not gonna stop me. I'm too strong for you. You're not gonna fucking scare me. But I'm like, this is warping. It went from real life to this happening. Okay, this is where it's gonna get crazy. So I went back inside. Knew I was in mole world. I went up into the restaurant and I left. I didn't want to be there no more. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. It was getting really serious. And I saw myself leave. My soul, the light body that would control the body, like it just lifted and went like that. And I saw the guy continuing, and I'm like, oh, this is real. But how could it be real if that just happened to me? But I've been to the mole world, and let me think of this for a second. Ayahuasca one time sent me there, and I wasn't aware that it was mole world. I just explained on FearLess what the experience was. I had to be two gentlemen came to get me. One of them looked like Isaac Oscar, the guy that was in Star Wars or whatever, Moon Knight. So he like walks up to me, and we're at my house, my home, top of the hill. From the hill, I can see. Well, it was a mountain. It had two room with you can drive up it or you can walk up, and at the top was my place. So I can stand at the top and just overlook the mall. That's how I'm able to describe it. I'm like, oh, it's down over there. There's a road in between us, multiple roads, and then you can see how it's gated in, and it's all one thing. It's not expansive. Everything's already built in. It's not on Earth or a rotating ball. It's in a realm, a flat experience, an area that you can fucking access your digital character. They brought me down. This is going to make sense, and you're going to be like, holy shit. I'm talking to them on the way down. I had to cross the road, and I had to jump over the fucking fence with them. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I go inside, and I'm like, what am I doing in here? Inside that day, one of the first things I saw was Nazis. They were like advanced space Nazis. They were wearing black. They had the red with the symbol. They had guns. They had these. They weren't masks. It was a mask, but it was like a face over his face. It was black, right? So it was scary looking. It looked like it had the breathing unit on it in case you wanted to like hit him with gas. He would already have that built into his mask. From the eyes, you can see behind the goggled eyes. I'm like, man, what are these guys doing here? They were guarding 3 doors right out in the middle of the mall. The mall came down. It started to get wider and broke off and went up that way and went up this way towards the food court. And right in the middle, and there were doors in the other part of the background, all these like doors, as if you were like going to Madison Square Garden or one of the games and they were playing hockey, and you could just like access all these doors going down onto the arena floor or something, right? And people behind each door, I would guess, is something different, but they were all closed and they were all painted brown. It was a mall. So it was your typical 80s fucking mall. Big though. And then there were 3 doors just in the middle, and the door was open and I could just see through it. It didn't go anywhere. All around it. And the 2 Nazis were standing there. I got close and he said, yo, papers. And he like bumped me with his gun. And I grabbed the head of the gun, pushed it up, and I said, don't you fucking touch me. And everyone ran up. People that didn't like Nazis ran up and started fighting with them. And then the other Nazi looked like he wanted to shoot me. And the guy that was with me that looked like Isaac Oscar. And I called him out. I said, you look like the guy from Star Wars. He goes, I don't even know what that is. So he can have a digital twin in there and not know that he's even in there, right? It didn't make sense to him what I was saying. He goes, yeah, that's nice. Like I was the dummy. Anyway, he was like, yo, you got to stop fighting with them. And I was like, I don't like Nazis. I'll fight a Nazi all day. It's in my blood. Punch a Nazi. Let's go. A real one, it makes me feel good. But they pull me off of him, off the guy. Like, I didn't want to let go of the gun because the other guy had the gun. They had them like, ah. So I let go. The crowd gets in between us. I see the doors. They lead nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck are they guarding in the middle of nowhere? Right in the middle of the mall, space Nazis. He's like, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. I saw an airport in the underground, okay, where UFOs were taken off, and they would like come up out of the from under the ground in the mall area. It's still in the gated in area. They would fly up, and a portal would open, and they'd fly out the portal. So they're not flying off into space. They're not doing that. They're flying off into portals. I saw planes landing. They were coming through portals. They weren't like coming from another area where you, oh, look, it's all the way down there. You could see them coming. No, a portal would open and the plane would come out and land on the tarmac. So Mole World, we call it Mole World because you're in the mall often, but it also has many other areas attached to it. From the outside, you can see the one road in, the one road out. It really just loops around. It doesn't really go out. When you get to this part, it's like blank. It doesn't exist. It's not fucking rendered. But everything over here is, and that's maybe why it looks like all this shit would fit in there. Because if you had a video game where you created like a theme park, what is it called when you have like the real, like you make your real life guy go build stuff in the game? I forgot what that's called. The Sims. You can have Sims where like you become a guy that owns an area and builds that area, and then all the other Sims start to show up like an action park or a great adventure. Just imagine all of that in one place, plus the hotels, plus the restaurants, plus the schools, plus the water park, plus any building that would need to be associated with said fucking place, right? But the other side, so looking from the mountain, there's a ridge on the other side. You can see across. It's far, but you can see it. And it's like a fucking giant wall with grass on it and stuff. There's water running over there. But what's up over that? It's not rendered. You're not supposed to be up there. But all down here, it has everything you need. And it has layers in it. Layers after layers after layers. Now, I figured out a while ago that this was real because I had a job. I have a job there. I was an inspector. I'm an inspector here. I'm retired. Fruit and vegetable, right? So anything that comes in off the docks. So I'm on the docks working, and I worked an 8-hour shift and then did another like 4 hours on New Year's. So everyone was partying. I was alone on the docks counting blueberries coming out of trucks, portals, areas. It was like doorways that would just be lit, and they would just take them on pallets, and they would come from that side. I don't know who's on the other side. My job was to stay here, and as the pallets come in, just go, okay, do an inspection on that pallet. Next, right? But this was, if you ever been to a loading dock, they're miles long. Like the one I worked on was a 1/4 mile long, and there were 4 of them, and they were broken into 4 pieces, and they were 2-sided, so trucks could pull up, a train could pull up, a boat could pull up. Like you had every directional pull up, and as well as the truck pull up in the other ones. And you can go upstairs and run really quickly through the offices, come back downstairs, warehouses, freezers, entry ports, where all the trucks back up, trains, etc., like I just said. So I was down in there. I saw myself go in and was like, oh, he's counting blueberries. I count blueberries. And then I'm counting, and now 8 hours go by, and I'm like, oh, it's New Year's. I'm getting out of here. I totally forgot. Like I was living the life. And I was like, man, this is really weird. And then it was New Year's, and then I get the call, yo, you got to stay, you got to work. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. But I was wondering, am I making more money for this? Am I getting paid to do this? Like weird things. I couldn't remember, like, do I make money doing this? Or is this a social status thing and everyone's fed for free and you can just get what you want? You could just go and get, you don't really have to, you just have to follow the rules or else. It's like, and I've described it as being communist, socialist, kind of. I'm like, it works, but it doesn't work. Because I'm realizing as me what doesn't work there, but as them, they don't maybe know. Okay, so we're going to get crazier now. I have this experience where I decide next time I'm in Mall World, I'm going to make somebody say my name. So I'm walking with these people. I know some of them here in real life and some I don't. And they know me, but they don't know me like they know me here. And I don't know them like I know, but when I bopped in, we're walking and I turn and I see a girl I used to work with and I go, and she knows me really well. And I go, yo, say my name. Say my name. Say my fucking name. Say it. What's my name? And we're just walking out on the street thing. And she looks over and these two girls and this guy that were walking a little bit ahead stop and turn around. And they're like, bro, are you okay? Are you okay? Is he gonna be all right? And I had bubble gum in my mouth, and it just, I don't know where, I didn't put gum in my mouth. I wasn't chewing it prior to that moment, and it starts expanding, and I'm like bending over, going and pulling it out, and you get it out, kind of. The last snap, oh, I could breathe. Blah, it starts again. Like, that makes no fucking sense. And that happens to quite a lot of people. Now, hear me out. This goes on the whole time. And then I get pulled out. While I'm pulling the gum out, I wake up choking. Man, she didn't say my name. Now, I just had an experience under shrooms the other night that showed me when you drop into that body is not unlocked. And I'm like, what? They're like, it's not unlocked. So the people that were looking at you weird didn't see bubble gum coming out of your mouth. They didn't see like the that you were actually going through. That was a reaction of you trying to press the system and break through it. And it fought back. And it was the other guy. It was the you that travels to go there. That soul piece that goes into the body. So you went in there and you were like, say my name. They didn't hear any of that. You're not allowed to find out. You're not allowed to wake up. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean I'm not allowed to do? So I'm like, whoever this character is, I'm not allowed to say certain things? No. And then I saw the reactions. It was just me standing there going, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? He was just like opening and closing his mouth and then just staring like, and I'm like, what's wrong with him? That's what they're seeing while I'm pulling gum out of my mouth. They're like, the gum is a metaphoric reaction to you not being allowed to say certain things inside of that flesh suit. You're not allowed to override what they created, which is a version of you. They have it locked in because it's a digital copy. Oh, really? This gets me so angry. So I go in there and I'm having these experiences one after another, after another, after another, after another. And then finally I'm walking with those same people more this time. We were walking to work and the girl looks over at me and goes, hey, Frank, today you got to do X, Y, and Z. And I go, you said my name. And she goes, yeah, I said your name. Your name's Frank. And I go, of course it is. And I immediately gritted in like, all right, I'm going to ride this one. The other night I went in, I saw Paula. She was sitting right next to me. There was a group of people. The guy was trying to hit on Paula that was sitting next to her. He was showing her something on some screen. So they have computers, they have outfits. We were wearing gray and blue. There's like pants that were gray with blue stripe on the side. and like it was gray with blue accents. It was pretty cool looking, but it made me feel like Starfleet student or something. I don't know. It was basic though. And I'm sitting, I'm dreaming, and I just remember being me, looking, and I'm like, oh, everyone's here. Oh, I'm back here again. Oh, Paula's right there. I get up, I go, hey, Paula, and I hear the guy talking to her, and he says some shit to her that was a little nasty. Also to get me out of there. So I'm like, what up, wife? And Paula would answer me a specific way. We have a thing that we do. She'd be like, what up, husband? And she looked at me and goes, why'd you call me your wife? The guy said something else. He was nasty. And I leaned in between them and I just looked over at him. I says, you disrespect me one more time, I'm going to fucking kill you in front of everyone. Do you understand me? And he looked at me. I like said it right in his face, ear, air, like, you're dead right now. I'm going to fucking kill you right here. And he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I looked over at her and she looked at me and went, yo, like she didn't know me anymore. My Paula would never do that. She would have attached to me immediately like a backpack, and we would have walked away together. And I'm like, oh, so you don't know me like that. I knew. But the part of me that said that kind of darker shit kind of came from that guy. So I don't know what was happening prior to me being there. I only remember what I remember. So we're on the panel yesterday, and I'm starting putting other people's stories together. And I'm hearing it out, and they start talking about the GATE programs. What's a GATE program? They're testing for different things with the children and then putting them in a program that would be like Pizza Gate or like Project Gate or Gateway, or it's all those different things. So it's a GATE program. Probably not, I'm not doing it justice. My job isn't to do this justice. It's to tell you what the fuck is going on. So one of the ladies on the show, everyone was awesome, but she was specifically interested in the bubblegum statement and said, she said some pretty interesting stuff about, we were talking about overlays of the system, and is it possibly there's an overlay? We see them coming in and out of portals. And one of the guys was saying, well, I opened one of those doors in the mall and there was a stadium being built. He goes, and obviously when you open the door and you go into a room, you're not expecting a giant, like a Yankee stadium or a giant stadium being built right there in that room, because you open the other door. That's not what's going on in that room. There's something else going on. So you have ever expanding doorways that open into things. So how do we know one of those doors, is what I said, doesn't lead to your closet, and the man in your closet that you feel there's someone staring at you? How do you know one of your doors just don't open to that? Well, how would you make that connection? Well, you'd have to have my DNA, know where I am. You'd have to tag me, so you'd have to have technology in my flesh suit. You'd have to have that already ramped up. So as you're building this from the 70 years back all the way up to now, it's getting better. It's getting more rendered. More complete structures are being built and manifested in this area due to the time spent. So you go in there, I'll go into Mole World. The entire time, the AI is scanning you when you drop in. You drop in and you're trying to do anything and you're realizing what's going on. And here on this end, they're watching you through. This is what my guide was telling me. Go loop back to that. They're watching everything you're doing, every reaction, every keystroke, every breath you're taking. Every time you think you're alone, you're not alone with these devices. And when you put them in the other room, we're at the place where it just can get you from every direction. So this is how the copy's made. Hear me. It's a perfect copy of you. When I go there, I don't have any scars on my face. I have hair. Like, I'm still bald, but I don't have the bald spot. Like, that dude can just have like the buzz. And when I looked in the mirror, it was like a better looking version of me. Like, he didn't have any marks on his face and shit. And I'm like, so I'm thinking, oh, this guy's doing pretty good for himself. Meanwhile, he's a digital copy. But that doesn't make him less you. Hear me out. They rendered you, and continue to render us, piece by piece, personality trait by personality trait, by evolution of change. Like, they're tracking and tracing your patterns and your outputs. They know your thought. It will appear as they know your thoughts before, like, the 98% chance he'll make a left turn instead of a right turn. That's all built into it. And that character comes to life. Now I'm going to connect it to all this other crazy shit. It's going to connect even more so. So he renders up. And now there's a copy that I get sent into because it's a perfect copy. So it's a fractal of me now. You created a version of me that's so perfect over there that has all of my shit built into it that I can actually take my soul spirit and go into that, which is what they want to do. See, they are preparing this area. This is just like the liftoff area, an entrapment for these characters, so they can harvest your energy through the copy, because even a copy of God is a copy of, like, it'll hit me and then a little piece will jettison off to that area, and they could keep us in that area at a slave amount of thought and do what they need to do. And what do? When people describe Mole World, sometimes it gets scary in there, right? There's like layers and levels to it. There's so much information. God, I hope I can get this. So there's like dark under sewer, right? But outside of that, down further, where does it go? Nothing. It's almost like Mario Brothers when you're in the under. Okay. Then you have another layer where there's like science labs. Well, how do we know that? Okay, this is going to be weird. That physical characters can't interact with these characters by just walking in through a portal into this space. How do we know they don't have, the scientists have it's a digital copy of a real guy sitting on the other side, making this character do experiments on these characters. So this character will have full knowledge of who he is and what's going on, military scientist, and then interact with us. So it's almost like he's wearing a headset, like you're wearing a headset, like another virtual reality inside the hologram, so they can go and perform their experiments. Because I was in groups of people hiding in the lower sewers trying to escape, and there was no escape. You couldn't get out. We were at like the lowest point. That's the furthest I've ever been. There was a lot of people too. There's a lot. And we were all sitting there, but what we were hiding from were scientists and being collected and being used. So there was abuse of some kind going on, and I'm thinking this is where they program or change the program or do something to figure out how much needs to be real in a space before you can open a portal and actually physically enter it. Remember, they have aliens helping them, ETs. They have an AI helping them that is beyond anything we can imagine. So the recreation area could be physically accessed. Maybe that's why the UFOs are portaling in and out. Maybe the plane rides in and out at some point are physical, or part physical, from our world into theirs. I'll explain further. They've been telling us the whole time in TVs, music, and movies what they're doing, right? Well, fucking Tron made no. It didn't make sense at this level. Down here, it made a little sense. It's like, oh, maybe early Matrix type stuff or whatever. Yeah, maybe. 1982, Tron. They make the grid. So the guy in the movie who's in our world, 3D flesh guy, creates an area inside the computer using some super shit with technology where it's an area that is alive inside of that space. It's a digital space. Hear me. You then get shot with a laser. He gets hit accidentally and shoots his physical body into that space. It deconstructs him and reconstructs him. Except when they reconstruct him here, he's flesh in the digital space. Thus, he can be hurt. You hit him with one of those flying discs in the movie or one of the bikes, he bleeds. You punch him in the face, blood squirts out. You punch one of those other characters in the face, it's a digital boom. The jaw cracks and it's all pixels. It shatters and cracks and falls to the ground and it's no more. But when he gets punched, it's blood in a digital space, which is why they're trying to capture him, not for the blood, because of who he is in the space. And they call him user. So in video games, user 1, user 2, player 1, player 2. Ready player 1, player 2. This is going to get crazy. I'm going to take you down the path where how they've been showing us the whole time. So in Tron 1, the user gets pulled into the game area. The character Tron that he creates, who looks like his best friend, so he digitally created his best friend from the real world, that a guy that he cared about, which was his business partner in the corporation, to be called Tron. Tron was his protector. But Tron was just basically in the system being a renegade to things that were attacking the system. Because like real life, this shit is what goes on. It's been programmed into there. But it still just looks like when you're in there, unrendered areas. So they're transparent, they have lines and grids. It's almost like everything's got glass floors and glass walls, and they're fighting on the glass tabletop, and it could be shattered and broken. But then there's like metal and stuff, but it's still grid. It's the grid lines, blue color with the white lines everywhere, laid out in all directions. They take the light cycles and they fight on them. They construct and deconstruct things for the games. I feel like everything is fighting me from saying this, except my higher guy who's breaking through. So, Tron 2. The guy from the first movie, User 1, that created the place, stayed in the game. Stayed in the grid. His son's looking for him. He's disappeared. He goes into the game the way his father did. And is like, holy shit. But when he gets there, it's more advanced. Now it doesn't look like it did in the 80s. It looks like you would think it's supposed to look if you were rendering out some cool fucking area. Like the technology is more intense. The special effects, the graphics, the way they look, more tuned in. They're like 4K character looking. They're at a higher resolution rate. They're still pixels and they still fall apart when you strike them. But man, does that look good now, and it's upgraded. Holy shit, that's awesome. Okay, check it out. At some point, you find out the user from the first movie, Jeff Bridges, when he was in there and he decided to stay, he created an AI copy of himself. Instead of growing and learning with the AI, he sends him on a mission to make the place perfect. The guy's name is Clue. Clue turns around and starts arranging things in what would be a perfect order. It comes off very Nazi-esque, very Empire from the Star Wars movies-esque, and immediately goes after his copy, the creator, immediately wants him. He's like, I did all this for you. And he wants to take him and kill him because he's jealous. Because in the system, that guy's like Neo. He's programming now from the inside. Jeff Bridges knows who he is, what he created, and what's going on in the system. He has powers and abilities unlike that of anyone in the system because he's a creator being that physically was put in there. So it's him. Then he created the render of himself from in there, and that's the guy taking over, the evil AI. Okay. At some point, Jeff Bridges says, during that escalation of Clue putting everything and arranging in things in perfect order, a purple portal appears in the sky. And everyone's shocked. He's shocked because he built the place, but he's living in it now. And it's just expanding and growing. And the end points, you can't go any further. It's not built out yet. It's not rendered. But they render areas. So they're building up and out in digital space. So a portal opens and beings walk out. And they're half human, half, they're from the digital system, but they're alive and they bleed. And they're literally 100% alive, just like Jeff Bridges. And nobody knows how this happened. He says, hey, man, maybe it's God, man. So you built a system. The system built itself up into this area because you have to access this place. You can't just go off-grid. There is no off-grid. It's in this area. This realm is the grid. Now you have flesh beings running around. First thing the AI does is go capture every one of them and kill them. They're going to ruin everything and they start creating their own shit. So he captures and kills everyone except the girl in the movie. Spoiler alert, end of the movie. Clue has to fight the creator. The creator uses superpowers on him, uses some Neo shit. Boom, because he knows who he is. He's like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, yep, no, I don't think so. Sends his son home with the girl. Well, how do you know the girl's going to make it? Well, she's alive. She came from the portal. She's the last one. And it deconstructs her. She goes like up, they go up into the light and then get digitally rendered back out into the real world as flesh. It was a laser that did it. So they use a laser instead of the laser prints you out, but it prints you out biologically. Like you're in the world now. And the girl is still half that and half human. So she's a hybrid of both. They get on the bike and leave. The third movie just came out, Jared Leto. They build a second, because you could just build these, grid. And this grid is a different company's grid. They let go of the old grid and they said, we're building a better upgrade here since that guy's gone and whatever. Inside this space, okay, they're building all this stuff just like they were in this one, except they're bringing them out into the real world. But here's the problem they're having. They're not fucking real yet. They're not alive in the traditional sense. They're from the grid. You made a digital character in that space, and now you're letting him come out. And he gets printed, and that's Jared Leto. And you get 30 minutes that you could be held together in our environment. So that's it. You get 30 minutes. So he gets sent out on all these missions and everything, but his name is Ares, right? He was supposed to be the system enforcer, master control, the head guy, the creator, whoever's typing in on this end in our world, in the corporation, to him, he then takes that information and does what they say, sends it to the proper people. He starts disobeying and rebelling against the system. He doesn't know why. He winds up with Jeff Bridges in the other place at some point because he jumps out for 30 minutes and at the 29th minute jumps into that one. And in there, he's given, his code was missing the DNA. They were claiming like Pinocchio. He was right, man, this is crazy, man. And it was the program piece that would attach the DNA and make it swirl so he could live in the other world for forever. You're alive. You could just now walk out of this grid and you are alive. That was the code that you needed, which was his originally from the creator. Hear me out. He gets it, comes out into the real world. He's not a program anymore. He has all the enhancements that he would have had, plus he's human. So he's awesome, but he gets tired. You can get shot, you'll die. But you're a little stronger, so you can lift the car. You're a hybrid. The whole point of the movie was to bring them out here. Now, let's jump around to a few other places where we've seen this shit. So, the Matrix would be one of them. So you have a digital character over there in that system. It's not here, I'm in the real world. And then they plug in and go. Right? What they're creating is that exact thing without you plugging in that way. You plug in wirelessly. You're not aware of it. They send out the signal. They control the horizontal and the vertical. Okay? I'm not the be end and all of any of this, by the way. These are my experiences and my thoughts now on what's been happening. So now, when you access the Matrix and you plug in, you jump in. Now Neo's in a trench coat and he's flying. And he goes back to the real world. It's just Neo. Neo's he's a regular guy. He could be kind of slapped around. Right? You maintain the same information, but you're not strong. You can't fly. You can somewhat connect to the robots and shut them off through some kind of EMP thing, but that's about as much as it goes in the real world. So there's your fantasy gone. And then in this place, you can fly. You could take on 100 Agent Smiths. You could run across their heads, kick them in the face. No matter how hard the system tries to attack you, you can defeat the system. However, you're still in the system as this character. So whether you fly around and you do this, you're only in the area rendered allowed you to fly in that area. In that movie, it's Earth. They weren't flying off planet. They weren't doing all those crazy things. Maybe it was assumed that they were trying and stuff, but they kept them locked into this system. Whereas, and they're digital characters. It's a version of you that has to wake up in there. And we're like, oh, it's a metaphor for this place where we have to wake up and ascend. Oh yeah, as above, so below. So why wouldn't they be creating that area as well? Which is going to bring me revolving through that. And I want you to think about Stranger Things now. This is where it gets a little fucking kooky. So in Stranger Things, they have the mall. They have an entire season that has to do with the mall, right? There's obviously a portal under the mall. I guess it goes into the upside down. I don't remember it, but I had like a PTSD moment watching that season and then forgot about it until this season. I was just casually watching Mapola, and they flash to the mall scene, and the demigorgons on the thing, they're fighting in the mall, and I have this huge, massive PTSD moment where I'm going, wait a second, that's what the mall looks like exactly. And then I'm thinking now, like, the thing in the dark that chases us through the mall, like, this can't be real. But the scientist I knew from my ayahuasca experience. Now I'm going to reconnect the scary mall, because I had talked about this before Stranger Things came out. So when I did my ayahuasca trip, I was with the Star Wars guy, Oscar Isaac, and then he was leading me to the food court after the Nazi incident. We were walking by, I see people, you hear them screaming, they're running, running, running. I'm like, well, maybe we shouldn't be walking this way. And he's like, no, come on. So we walk up, and he's like, okay, you're good with animals, right? And I'm like, yeah, why? I guess it depends. And he's like, okay, you have to go in there and take care of that. People were just fucking screaming at the top of their lungs, running for their lives. Some people just ducked down, hiding. So I'm like, I'm going to go in there. I'm just thinking to myself, there's going to be a dragon in there, some crazy thing, and I'm going to have to go shut this down. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I walk into the food court. I see people hiding. I see this little kid crying, his mother, they were like hiding behind this stuff. There are people trying to get away, and nothing was happening to them, but they were screaming. So I'm like, I don't see anything. I look up on the ceiling, and there's this giant millipede. This thing was so big that it was as big as a dragon would be, but a millipede. So it was big. Each section of it was bigger than me. And it was mad long with mad legs, and it was purple and black. I talked about this on the show. It was one of the craziest things I've ever done. It was on the ceiling, and I looked up and I said, oh, look at that shit. And it was really scary looking, but I wasn't afraid. And I said, yo, come over here. I went like that. You, stop that. Come over here. And it came down the wall. I was like, it was so much bigger in front of me than it was up on the ceiling. Trust me when I say this. And the whole background looked like it was pieces of this thing moving, legs. And it hunched up and looked at me. And I'm just looking up. And I go, you need to stop doing that. You're trying to hurt people. You can't hurt people here. And then he said to me, what the hell am I doing here? How did I get here? And I said, wait a second. What? I heard him loud and clear in English in my head. And I said, yo, you're going to hurt someone. They're going to send these guys in here, and they're going to kill you. And they're going to shoot you. All these military guys are going to come in here any minute. Or you can tell me what happened, and we can walk away together. And he said, okay. He backed off and just stood up. He said, all I was hearing was, and I was like, this thing looks like it could eat me and just rip me apart. But it's not. It's speaking like a human in the telepathy. And I'm seeing in his mind, he's showing me a portal open. He was with his mate. They were mating, literally. He goes, I was here, and then boom, here, I'm in this place. So I go, oh, the scientist down underneath us, because I knew the labs were underneath us. I said, must have been playing games again with the portals. And I'm like, how the hell would I know that? Like, it was just a reference thing. And I go, okay, I don't know how to talk to these science guys about this, because it's everything's happening so fast. I'm like, but you need to come with me. So you leave with me, and you can't hurt anyone. You literally, I will take you with me. However, we'll figure it out. You come stay on my area. You'll be fed and everything. You tell us what you eat and whatever. We'll do the best we can. But you got to get the fuck out of here right now. You got to come with me right now, or they're going to kill you. Because I don't know how to send you back there. I don't know about the portal. I know the scientists are underneath, and you got to come with me right now. And I walked out with the millipede, who agreed to live with me until this was figured out. Walked out with me, that guy, and another guy, the guy that was from Star Wars. He had a buddy with him, and we walked past the military, right out the back end of the mall, back over the street, over the fence, up the hill, over the street, up the next part of the hill, and I had to show Paula what had happened. And she was like, well, he could stay with us as long as he doesn't eat the cats and the horse. And I was like, man, this is fucking weird. Hear me out. So in Stranger Things, they be opening organic portals into places and then bringing things out. In Tron, they're making a digital space, rendering characters in that space, and then bringing them out. Why couldn't you overlay both of those projects where science meets the supernatural and add technology to that and bring out into our reality a fucking demigorgon, a whatever, a creature of any kind, You can make a light being. It wouldn't matter. Maybe just like you would be able to step inside of there. You're just stepping inside of another space. If you created oxygen, or if you wore the mask with the oxygen on it, maybe something to keep you stable, more science than I would understand, that allows you to walk into another dimension with your flesh. Me personally, I am the claim of the man who walks in all worlds. I say that for a reason. This is why I'm beginning to I can do this. I can come in and out of these places as part of my thing. Are they making these spaces and bringing these things in and out? Us in and out. One area digitally, one area spiritually. Why couldn't they do this? Everything would be based, every system built here from an AI, from any universal structure, still has to have systems based on real things in real life, because it's copying. So if there's one here, there's one there. Well, what if you just created shit in this one based on stuff from here and then trick us all day long? Build the digital guy, because the ascension is out of control for them. They can't stop it. So they take a part of you and they steal it and they put it here. And they continue their projects. You probably won't give them enough. It's like taking my creator juice and adding it to the Tron space. So now you have a user in there, right? People have claimed, even on the panel, if you go and mention Jesus or something, the program will stop. The people will stop and look at you. And you're like, wait, I thought everybody was just chilling. Because I've spoken to certain people. Well, I don't know these people specifically now. Well, where would that kind of stupid shit happen? Inside of a digital space. A space where it could be controlled. There's rendered environments for you to do all these distractions to keep the creator in you from becoming aware, by locking down your digital avatar to a certain, it has to be on levels and structures. And if it's a perfect copy, that means you have a copy of my shit. So my shit works intensely. So you have to give it something to represent that something. And that crack in your armor is how I get in with my awareness, and then become aware after many years till today of this conversation of what is actually happening. And I'm going to tell you who sent me down the extreme explosion rabbit hole. So Sabrina Wallace says some awesome stuff. She's onto it. She knows what she's talking about. Okay, so she comes from the tech side of things. She knows the manipulation, the frequencies and the devices, the 5G towers that are bullshit and all the other things and the injections, the technology behind it. She's screaming it's tech related. She said during COVID, a lot of this stuff was like, I'm probably not doing this justice, but the viruses are digital that you're receiving. So they're creating digital viruses. Mind you, Bill Gates, antivirus, right? Hold on. They create the viruses inside the digital space and then broadcast the virus out of the digital space, frequency us with it while we have enough shit in us that will allow that to activate and make it real. But it's still a digital projection. It's still a mimic that feels horribly real and can kill you. Now they have a control over you. They also have a digital space with you doing whatever they need you to do with that character running around while pulling viruses. That's like saying in Tron's world, in the grid, they built a virus. And they took that virus and broadcasted it at Phil and John and Frank and Susie. And they had heavy metals in them and whatever other tech from consumption and breathing and living in this space, that it activates that and tricks the system, although a very intense trick. Just like the hologram here to us is very intense and real, thus it becomes real as well, and we don't know any better. But then you also have parasites in you, more regular, non-technological parasites in you. If you have a lot of them, most likely you have a demon in you, because that's how the demons connect. See, demons aren't big here in this environment. They're little, microscopic, parasitic. You have to have a lot of them in you, and then the one that takes you over, or the many that are running the show, they always tell you, we are legion, we are many. Well, that would explain it, because you have a lot of parasites. That's why it seems so out of control, and everybody else has got parasites, and they're so little that if you put them on the board, there'd be trillions. But it takes those trillions to infect, to make one just come up and go, I gotcha, in the way it gets you. Can you hear me on this? Is this something that resonates with you? Because it resonates with me, and I'm beginning to see it hardcore, because when I had COVID, air quotes, because I didn't go around no one. This was last year. I talked about this on the show. I got so sick, I thought I was going to die. I started hallucinating in my bed. I picked my head up, and my head was actually down on the pillow. My spirit came up, and I saw the broadcast. I saw how it was coming through the system, ding, 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 and these black squares and triangles were coming down wire lines and pumping and hitting me. And I was changing orange, yellow. I was trying to make it anything but the black color, but it started coming so fast and I couldn't keep up. And one got in, and then I was, so sick. And then another piece got in, and it started slipping in, and I'm so sick. And when I dropped back into my body, I was pouring sweat. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was dying. And I'd go, I had like 103, 104 fever. I was like, I'm dying tonight in bed. This is it. I'm dead. And I can see it with my flesh eyes. And I'm like, holy shit. This is like DMT. I'm hallucinating. What the fuck is it? I laid back down. Boof. Spirit came back up. Could see the system and how it's working against us. The digital system was building frequency generators and machines and surrounding us, and they were just broadcasting, bing, 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 and each one of us had direct lines to us in this space. So you're connected. We're all connected. They're trying to drive us into this area where they can slave them, because this part of the slavery in the physical 3D is about to end. This shit's about to end here, but over there, that's theirs. That's an enclosed system in a corporation. In a corporation. In a corp of some kind. In an area, space that they developed. They're stealing our fractal and putting it there. as a digital character, but it's still you. Where else have we seen this? Black Mirror has done this ad nauseum. The Star Trek episode where they're trapped in there physically, they're zapped into the place. Yeah, I'm not going to ruin that one. That's the best one they have. Then there's there's the cloning facilities one where they're creating the clones of everyone, and the little mini clone gets out, and Miley Roy Cyrus is hanging out with her little clone because it was unfinished and shit, and they brought it out. She escaped and got away, and they went back to the cloning facility to destroy it. Then there's the AI one where they go to meet the love of their life. Go meet the love of Will in 15 minutes you'll know in this world who you're meant to marry. And people are just going into this storefront, sitting down, connecting. They're like, they lay in the thing, they put the thing over their head, and they spend lifetimes of doing all these dating, marrying, having children, being pulled away. And then they're like, the one they want to be with, they only get to spend a minute with. And the computer tells them, don't forget you're in the computer. We got to switch them out. And then they put you with someone you don't like, and you have to go through a lifetime. You're stuck with them. And you go through everything. And then blip, you see the one that you loved originally. And blip, you're in another life. You're doing it again. Oh, blah, blah, blip, blip, blip. It feels like this has been going on forever. And you see her again. And you're like, yo, fuck this. I'm out. You go and you grab her and you go, yo, it's me. I love you. I can't do this no more without you. I can't be with whatever the fuck this thing is. I can't be here anymore. I've been here forever. All I want to do is spend some time with you. And they go, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. I love you too. They grab hands and something crazy happens. They go and jump this fence, and on the other side of the fence, they didn't know where they were going. They're trying to escape. It was like the end that you can go. You can't go any further because it's a rendered space. It's a digital space they were sent into to have this stuff happen. They held hands. They were like, oh, we don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden they see someone get raptured. Whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. And it's the other couples that decided, fuck this, I love this person. And they got together and they jumped the fence where you're not allowed to go. And on the other side of the fence, you get raptured. It's just whoop, you get sucked into the sky together. And you're like, what's happening? I don't know. Woo. And then you wake up and you're in this place and only 15 minutes has gone by. And you're like, bro, that was the craziest thing. What happened? Holy shit. And you look and there she is. Or there he is. And they make the connection and they fall in love. And it says guaranteed 99.99999% of the time, you will get this, what you're looking for here. And I'm like, bro, that's blowing my fucking mind right now. Then they had the one where they were playing the video games and the two best friends were go into the video game. They put the little piece on burp and they go into the fighting game. And then inside the game, they were doing all the moves and everything. And then they become really good friends. Then they fall in love in the game, but they're married on the outside world. And then they start going in the game and fooling around inside the game as the characters, but they're in the avatar of the character in the game. So they hook up and they start going all over to the different spots, and they want to stay more in that game. So the digital space I keep talking about, you could say game or digital space. It's the same fucking word. It's the same thing. It means the same exact thing. Right now we're playing the game. What would happen if your guy was in the game and he looked back and noticed the screen and started knocking on the screen? Get me the fuck out of here, bro. I can see you looking at me. He's like, the words come up under the screen where you think you're playing the game. And it's like, dude, I'm using myself in the video game. This is great. And then it's like, choose one thing, and you go to choose and you realize one of the statements, he's asking for help for real. And you're like confused by the statement, and you begin to recognize he's alive in there, and he's aware, he's awake. So Jared Leto's character in Tron 3 is awake. He doesn't know why. He said, I just feel compelled to do this. I don't understand it. His emotions were beginning. He was built as a character that came to life, Pinocchio style, but you're drawing off of something in that digital space, a copy of a real person who's in the real world. No matter what amalgam you use, you're taking multiple energies that was stolen from us and putting it in that, and then that is getting life, like Frankenstein. All you need is the burst of electricity plus some other stuff, wink, wink, and some tech. Hey, you got yourself a character. Depending on how good or bad the character is how maybe early the system is in its creation compared to how 20 years later the same system will make that guy look. So if you played Atari, it starts as Pong, and now we're playing PS5 where it literally looks like Spider-Man. Like you're just like, oh, bro, this is real life. If I was in this is what it would look like. Then it gets better. It just keeps getting better. So what if the enemy has the best or a really good version of that and pulling us into it? I can go on and on with this, but I will, excuse me. I think this is what, all right, wait. Let me go back to the parasite thing. So parasites and the Legion thing, parasites are real, organic, part of our holographic structure. It's part of everything that exists inside of this. This digital thing isn't that, it is something different, but it's the same, but it's different. It's a digital version. These copies then go on, and you still have a fractal that's removed that has to be repaired. And this is where I stand with this, because now I know. Because I'm a system breaker, and there's many of us out here together. FearLess family, most of you are. To wake up in this place, if you're waking up inside of that digital system, in that body, in that avatar, you're to break the system inside the avatar. So hear me out. 2 nights ago, I took a nap. I slept for about 3 hours. It was a big nap. But I stayed in the nap because in the dream, I learned how to fly. It was nothing like I thought it would be. And I've discussed this on the show. I've had other dreams, and those dreams were dope. But this one was different. It was real, man. I was in this house flying. All right. It began to work, and I didn't understand what was happening. And I floated a little bit, and then I went down. I got nervous, and every time I thought something, it would make it more difficult. Every time I let go of the thoughts and the bullshit, it started to work. But it felt like a muscle in my stomach, like a buoy that was never, you never exercised it. So you can't really like lift much weight with it. So you can only do so much. But I kept staying in the dream. I got up to pee twice. I was so excited. And then went back in. No, I'm going back in. And then eventually, in the dream, I said, Paula, I can fly. And she said to me, well, I'm glad you stayed in the house to practice. She was laughing at me. And I go, yeah, well, you don't want to practice by jumping off the roof when you can just lift off the floor. So she's like, would you want to show me? So I'm like, yeah. So I started getting excited, and it wasn't working. And I'm like, damn it. And this is what I had been dealing with. It worked, didn't work, didn't work. And then I'm like, I'm just nervous. My wife's looking at me. And she's like, all right. She sits on the bed. Paul's the best, bro. And then she looks at me, and I go, and I just relaxed. And I felt the buoy feeling. It was really wild. And I lifted right off the floor. And I did and then I flew out of the room so gracefully. Not what I would expect. Went into my room, grabbed something, picked it up, flew back in, came in, put myself down. She went, holy shit, you can fly. And I said, listen, it's been working. So I go, I need to go outside to get some air. I go outside, and it wasn't this house. It must have been like the outside looked like the place I moved to. Mind you, I'm in the dream learning this, but it's so real. And I see the tree and the antenna of the house. And I'm like, okay, if I stay between those two and close, I won't fly up into the sky. And as I'm talking, I go all the way up, a little too far for me. And I wasn't scared. I just looked. It didn't even feel, for as real as everything was when I was doing this, it was like tapping into a reality that's there that wasn't there prior. making thus reality feel different. Like this is different. Oh shit. And then went down real fast. It doesn't let you wipe out, like hit the floor and hurt yourself. You buoy out. So I just never touched the floor. It was right above it. Oh no, just right here. Fine. And I'm going, okay, well, I don't want to do that again. I'm going back inside and telling her what just happened. And I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. My point. I know when I go in the mole world now, we're system breakers. I think not only are we ascending here, I think we're going to break that system. I think it's highly important to break that system. So what would you need to do in that system to get everyone's attention and to shut that fucking system down with all their things in that system? Well, it would be like Neo in the Matrix, right? You'd go through steps that would guarantee that we're dodging bullets at this point, and on the other end, no matter what you do, you can't even do anything to me. I am the system. Even if it's a digital system, if it runs on some form of energy, it's source energy, which makes me the part of the system and you part of that system, as well as whatever there is they're doing. So we have full control of the system, but you have parameters set in your system. They can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do this, they can't do that. I think we're going to shatter that in those characters, and those characters will become something more in those spots, allowing you to recollect, perhaps shut down. I don't know if you shut down that system. I don't know how that works. Will it hurt everyone attached to it? So on this end, MK Ultra and everything attached to their technologies and whatever have in the last 70 years advanced to a point where we're at now. Now, the Miami Mall incident last year. Portal opens. Apparently, air quotes, being start walking around in a mall in Miami that, when described, could be demigorgons without the teeth. Remember, they always add stuff. They looked like they were coming in and out. Like, in other words, the visual you had on them were coming in and out. People shot at them and hit nothing. So what if these characters were being rendered in that place? And the mall stuff is real because maybe it's ideal for some reason. Maybe there's shit in the mall we're not seeing, like real malls. Maybe there's stuff built into them and under them, and all the tech is built into those places specifically, right? And as above, so below, as within, so without. They would use that military style to do that. Stranger Things, they did it, and it connected down into Russia, and it also connected into the organic portal that let you enter the upside down. What's the upside down? It's a fucking render of this place. It's not quite the same, not quite, but in Stranger Things, you find out that space is supposed to be empty. Those demigorgons and shit come from the other place. They pass through that. So is there an unrendered space between us and the next thing? And they render them and walk through that into here. And that would be 3D, 4D astral, 5D. On 5D, it's all real. We're in a containment that speaks on what is necessary for us to learn and accept certain things and to grow up enough to when you come out of that bubble, which is just a frequency change, you will see what's really around you, which is why it's always around us all the time. Because in reality, it's all fucking real because it's a hologram, but your source in the hologram, which makes you not only the hologram itself, but you're the hologram incarnate, plus so much more and everything else. So you could have digital scientists, AIs, working on breaking codes and doing all kinds of shit over there, and then releasing it here just to see what it does. It will do the exact thing it's meant to do if you have the stuff that connects you to that grid. right? And how do you get to that grid? Well, they broadcast the signal. Whoop, 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 whoop. So now we're just in it. That's it. It's for as crazy and deep as it gets, as simple as it works. Where else did we see that? They live. And what the fuck were they doing there? They had devices on top of things. Beep, 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 beep. Putting you to sleep in a sleep spell. So you didn't really know what was going on. And there was a select bunch over here that weren't affected by that shit. And they were doing interdimensional, interplanetary commerce. There's another movie. God, I don't remember the name of it. So these guys were fighting aliens. And everyone's trying to capture everyone. But there's something that has to be, an artifact of some kind needs to be gotten inside of a mall that's an outdoor mall. And you have to put on equipment to go, and the headset, the virtual headset, to go shop in this bazaar. And then you go there and you're like a digital render there. As long as you're wearing your tech and you can shop. And then at the end of your stay, you come back around with your group and you purchase your items. They put them on this conveyor belt and it brings it out through the portal. And then you go into the area, take off your equipment, and you're no longer associated to there's no accessible way for you to get to the bazaar space, to that mall area. God, I can't remember the fucking name. It's Valerian something. All right. Anyway, so that's another one. Then, Ready Player One. Corporations, off the back of a character that made this video game that you can put the VR on and go inside. The corporation's trying to take over. So you have a corporate place that has all the devices and all the technology you need. Don't cost them shit. They already have it. The regular players have to like buy the headset and this is the cheap one with the hands and you can't feel because you don't have the chest plate. They're inside the mech, moving around or in the chair, and they're going inside the system into the VR area where they're battling over the literal place itself. Oh my God! This is battling for the literal supremacy of that area inside the gamer space. So they win the game, the battle of the space, so it could be controlled by no one, by the people. So people can have it and go to it and enjoy it, right? So you put on the outfit, you digitally render there. Okay? And they're trying to take and trap you and enslave you to that area. You owe the corporate money. They take you and put you in these boxes and make you work inside the VR environment for the company until you work everything off. And that's what they were doing. They were trapping people in there and suppressing people. And the Ready Player One kid, he goes through his ascension through that place, which then, when that place is unlocked, it begins to unlock real reality. Things become okay because the corporation guys won't come and kill you. They lose power. You don't own that grid. We do. You have no power here. Ha! Then you could stop charging people because that's what the main guy was like. You're not supposed to have like these in-thing payments and where you could lose all your money in real life. That's not what this was about. This was to have fun and be part of something bigger and more. So he basically had, that's another space, just like in Tron, that can do the same exact shit, where they could pull items in and out. They were collecting things in the game. You go into the game, now you're in the game. The kid goes in, he breaks the system. Okay, the answer is right in front of us. The idea is to break the system. It's our job now to go back into Mole World and any other of these digital fucking accessible areas, an overlaid space that we become part of, that character needs to rise. So what are the things you can do? Well, wouldn't it be great if you can break the commands and fly inside the digital space? As above, so below, right? Maybe that's what the training's about on the other end. Getting back, because I already have back all my other fractals. I went through the process. The last ridiculous amount of experiences there were no more returning the timeline. That's all done. I did all that. I was in the crystal and saw the other thing, and now it's making sense. That little, oh, look, you wouldn't even notice it if you don't look at it from, oh, right there. There's the crack. There's still one out there. But a healed from your trauma, or at least evolving, healing through the trauma person here, creator being, get your shit in check here. It's already crazy enough. You begin to ignore the distractions and disruptions and the social medias and go into the other space and save yourself. And by saving yourself here, it's going to get easier there to break the programming. So when they go, no, you are not allowed to say it, and the gum comes out, you go, nope. And that's it. Gum don't come out no more. Now what's next? I look over it, start talking to people. There's no restriction on me. Where else have we seen this? The movie Free Guy. I suggest you watch it with Ryan Reynolds. It's a really good movie about the guy in the game coming to life. It's fucking crazy. You wake up in the game and you're like, bro, and in a video game, you'd be relegated to just the areas you're allowed to go. Just like in Mall World, you can only go to the areas required, and then it's real, and then suddenly it warps into some weird shit. People talk about the darker layers. There are layers when you render, right? It's like pixelated, a little less pixelated, even less pixelated. Then it's like 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, 5K, 6K, 8K, 12K rendering. So it gets better and better as it goes, which is why there was shops open. It looked dark. There's no one really shopping. People have experiences where it's a little different than anything I'm even talking about. It's just like they're alone and they're kind of in there and they don't know what's going on. Right. You're in the unrendered lower level where these things exist from the programming. They're building layer after layer, just like here, organically and biologically and spiritually. There has to be layers to build out the dense character so you can have the flesh experience. You got to do the same thing on the other end. As above, so below. Think about it. Really try to resonate with this. So if you break free, you're taught all these things, you're training for all these things. Oh, I know how to fly. Oh, I know Kung Fu. Oh, I know whatever. And then you're in the digital space and recognize you're in the digital space. At some point, there's no restrictor on you. Your soul being is going to know. So your subconscious there knows you're playing the subconscious character till you get there and settle in. And then it's like amnesia again, right? What happens when that's off? Mine's turning off in there. I'm literally doing all these things, and then now I'm getting answers. So I asked somebody to say my name, and then I had the gum experience. The next time I go in, I got, hey, Frank. The last time I was there, it was, hey, Paula, but she's not my wife. Okay, hey, Paula, hey, man. So what happens if I crack in there and there's no restrictor on me? And I go, say my name. And everyone looks at me and goes, Frank. And they, what the fuck was that? Somebody else stands up and says, say my name. What if I'm in there and I see one of you? I saw a whole bunch of people I know, right? And I'm capable of grabbing you. And I'm like, you remember this. You fucking say it back to yourself. You fucking find me and talk to me. I'm online. You just find me. very simple to talk to people that I know. And then I can just confront them here and ask and find out who remembers what remembers who was there. Who knows? There could be somebody that hears this, seen me doing that stuff there, and remembers and goes, that's the guy that was there. I didn't know that was him. And they had just been watching online, and just the video gets in front of them. You know, they're not promoting me on, they're not allowing me like the entrance I want on X at all. And I'm like, nobody's seeing my shit, nobody, blah, blah, blah. And then John Cena's following me. And I'm like, the wrestler? Yeah, go and check. I'm like, why the fuck would he be following me? He's only following 1 million people. You follow what he's going on in his world, and he's having his own breakout. And I'm like, wait a second. Oh, shit. So there's not as many of us as we think there are. Even though there's a lot. Millions is a lot. Even saying a billion is pretty dope. Those are the transforming creators. They're going to transform literally. Everyone's capable of doing it at their unlocked time. So some are here to witness, some are here to watch in disbelief, some are here to witness in belief, some people are just here to transform. They had to go through the transformative. So then you can see that and go, oh, I could do that too. Right? So everyone's Neo. Everyone has that ability. Everyone's Trinity. Everyone. And the combining of the two that's insane. That's like the perfect. So what happens if I break out in Mole World and Paula is capable of doing the same thing there? What does that mean? How will that affect? Is that another level up? I think so. Right now there's the two of us in there, but we live together, but we talk about Mole World. I was there again. Oh, I saw you. And then you were like, fuck off or whatever. So it's happening. Now there's two of us in the same house, know exactly what's going on and how we should handle it by waking up. What if I grab her by the hand and say, hey, it's me. I love you. Don't you recognize me? And then she's dreaming and in there as well. It's like she got pulled in. And then she's trying to say, I love you back through her digital avatar. And then it works. A break occurs, a crack in the armor, something in the program that I'm the spirit overwriting in your physical fucking program in that digital space. I know I overwrite the code because it's me. You don't get to tell me what to do. I fucking tell you, you don't tell me. And you fucking remember that. You're dealing with the wrong group of people. This is literally beings like myself. It's our job to smash that shit and to uplift out of that stuff. So you can, they've been talking about this the whole time. I could keep connecting them. There's so many. Anything where they take you from here and build a digital space and have the character there, or of any of that back and forthness with technology. That's how it starts. So it won't be literally plug in like that into your skull. That's what it was in the Matrix. Like they do things in the movies to make it a little different. So, you know, it's like, yeah, you'd have to plug into it for it to even work, or else you'd be out here, but you want to be in there and not in here. And then the Bruce Willis movie is the same thing, right? The surrogates. Everybody's in their house and they jump inside the avatar. That's perfect. And then you realize, like, the fat pedophile ugly guy is going into the little girl body and running around and making her be like disgusting, because the surrogate is just a robot that looks real as it gets, but it's perfect in its own right, and it's being controlled from inside of wherever you live, whoever controls that avatar. You literally go into that. You send your mind in it from the seat. So you put the head on, boom, you're in. You don't know the fucking difference. All right. I haven't looked at the screen this entire time, and 2 hours and 14 minutes have gone by. I love you. I can't make this go much longer. If you see me in Mole World, you fucking come right up to me and get me. You come right up to me. My name is Frank there, so you don't have to worry. Just come and get me. Say, it's me from wherever. You might have to snap me out of it, right? But look for me. I'll look for you. If I know you, this is it now. This is today. We're live with it. Next time I'm in, I told my higher self, please don't put me back in Mole World. It's like the fucking worst place. Every time I go in there, it's like limited and blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what's going on. And he was like, oh, relax. You don't have to go there. But I had like 2 weeks without being bothered by it. And then whoop, went right back in. Son of a bitch. I'm here again. Well, I'm going to make the best of it. Well, I'm not working no more for them. I'm not doing any of that shit. If I go in there, I'm going to unlock. I'm going to unlock the character. So let's unlock these characters. Let's see what the fuck happens. You know, look, this world is weird. There's a lot of things that go on. We've proved it over and over again that we have these powers, abilities, and that we can do these things. You don't need people to tell you no. This is your birthright. If they have a piece of us, let's go get the piece back. We take it back. You don't have to do it through destruction. I'm too powerful for destruction. I'm creation. No matter how much you destruct, I just keep going on and on and on and on. Right? So at some point, I want to take control of all of me. So I'm going to do this. This is something I'm going to do. I'm doing it. I'm not trying anything. This is going to be done. I believe firmly that when they showed me how to fly, that I'm supposed to break in the matrix there, and that digital twin is supposed to, that's the character that'll fly. You're in a digital space. You could break the fucking rules. The rules don't apply to you. Your source. You can just do what you need to do, thus manifesting much easier. And mind you, you can do that stuff here eventually. And I'm not saying you can't. What I can say is these training methods, like doing it in your dream and then going in here and then trying to unlock it and unlocking it here, will allow you more gnosis on how to do it here in this space. Because in this space, they just want you to relax, to create, love, and just come on. You got to observe and know what's going on, be aware. There's certain things you got to do, but there's a lot of things they don't want you to do, is like get involved with the bullshit. We already know there's poisons and everything. You already know they're all villains. Yeah, they're eating children and babies and Epstein's and this and that. This is just one little tip of the iceberg. Geez, we've been singing songs about this for fucking 20 years. I want a pat on my back and attaboy. But Paula gives me my attaboy. She said to me, wow, we listened to this stuff. You were talking about it back then. I was like, yeah, and I didn't know how. Like, it just filters through. Like I was explaining to my brother, it filters through. We're doing actual fucking magic. It's actual alchemy. We're just calling it the heist. Or me and Kev, we're doing actual alchemy. You're calling it Sons of the Suns. You're creating a nostalgic vibe that feels like you're in the future, right? That is so nostalgic that it makes you vibe out in the frequency. Yeah, there's more going on here than you realize. All right, you're attaching to these things and you're broadcasting. And all the stories are breaking through, and I'm here from somewhere else, and the UFO guys are with me, and the inner Earth guys are with us, and maybe it's time we start using this to our advantage. You have the knowledge, now use it. Put it to use. Don't fucking let me see what this guy does, and then he put it in his book. Phil K. Dick talked about it. There's a whole bunch of people that talked about this shit. Sabrina's talking about the other side of it. I'm talking about this side of it. And at some point, I hit her information, and it made everything make sense. So they could digital sickness you, but they could digitally twin you. They could digitally, like I left that up on the screen, building your digital twin. This is what it's all about. So they're doing it. So let's take it back. It's mine. It's not yours. Let's go in there and fuck shit up. Let's go enjoy it. There were riots in there one of the last times I was in there. People were throwing bricks and shit. Well, now that you know it's not real and you wind up in Mole World, the bricks won't hit you, right? You'll be able to escape that with no problem, right? You'll be able to climb up the side of the wall like you're Spider-Man, right? You'll be able to fly off, and people will go, oh, what? If he could do that, I could do that. Now we all realize we're in a digital space. It's fake. We can do what we want in here. Yeah. And then they'll live in that. They'll live in the takeover. And then you come back here and it's healed. They're awakened to it. Just like you heal all your other timelines and stuff. I don't have all the answers, and I got to take these things one at a time. But I'm going to take them head on, and I'm not allowing this. You're not allowed with my system with this bullshit. Now everything makes sense why Sugar Pop was there. My cat was in one of them, and she like got lost. And now I felt like people were watching me trying to find my cat, and they were making fun of me. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to find her in all this mess. And I kept looking, and I'm going, am I playing Where's Fucking Waldo with my cat? Does someone know and put a fake version of my cat, made me follow it around in here just far enough where I could see it, but couldn't catch it. I get close enough to be like, hey, look, it's me. And they're like, oh, yeah, look at you. And then they just take off. My cat runs to me. It literally jumps into my lap. Must have you, must have. She's sleeping right next to me the whole time we've been talking. She doesn't run away from me like that. Well, you're not acting like you. Is this fake? And then it goes on and on and on of me trying to find her. Obviously, they're making me jump through fucking hoops. So during those hoop jumps, that's how Frank, the AI there is like, well, that's Frank. That's how he acts. That's how he walks. That's his gait. That's his eyes. That's how he looks. When he does this, he's inside. This is what he's saying. Blah, 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 blah. So they're just creating that in the character. Manually putting each one of us through our own, oh, I'm on this floor of the place, and they were selling things, but they weren't really selling things, and the boxes were in there, but there were no products, there were no names on anything, and yeah, we're in one of the levels being rendered, and you're gaining back access to yourself. It's like you had to start on the bottom floor with you. I go in and you have your recognition and fear when they're hiding. We're hiding. I don't know why they're hiding, but I'm in here and we're all hiding in the sewers. Ooh, that's pretty fucking scary. Like the monster under my bed or the fucking fake thing in my closet that comes out. So they could be attaching us to these places. This could be all of that bullshit the whole time. None of it fucking real, right? But real. You render it and it walks out. It's fucking real. But like in Tron, you only get 30 minutes. Maybe they're at that point where they could only project it out. The aliens in the mall were just projections coming out from the digitally rendered space. Remember, there were ETs in there as well. So either they're going into that space and coming out of that space that way, which I kind of don't think that's what they're doing, or they send their digital renders out to see what the fuck happens. And because it's in mall world, it shows up in the mall that's connected to it. So I would look underground in Miami, in the Miami mall. Just like if you were in the Denver, I'd say in the Denver airport, you got to go under. It's all underneath. There's a CERN device over there too. When I was in Denver performing, me and Chris Gio were literally standing above it. I was like, there's a CERN device under us. He's like, I know. It was like at the base of the mountain piece where he lived. I'm like, that's why you're having these disturbances of these hotels that were there and not there. Geez, this makes no sense, right? The first day I met Chris Gio, I flew out there. I couldn't get a place to stay. So he said, stay with me. So we agreed beforehand. Now, the girl I was dating at the time literally is the lady that books you in hotels. She's like, there's like 7 or 8 places right next to this guy's house, right where your first show is. Everything's in a quarter mile of it. But I can't get anyone on the phone. They're there, but I can't get any reservations. I'm emailing and whatever. Then I get there, and there's all these beautiful hotels when we're going to the Denny's. I was like, it was right at the bottom of Chris's hill, and I go, oh shit, I wonder if this is what she was talking about. And Chris goes, oh yeah, none of these existed last month or some shit. They just appeared. Now we know that. There's a few people that know that, but nobody wants to fucking talk about it. But it was in the newspapers. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, kid. I'm not quite in the ayahuasca DMT circle just yet. It was like one day of it. And then we went to eat. So then we go into Denny's, and the girl in there, Chris just walks right up to her and goes, yeah, tell him about the places across the street. So behind her was the newspaper article in a giant frame on the wall of the whole incident. So there was a parking lot there that was really big, really big. It was right across the street from the Denny's at the bottom of the hill. There was one place being built for future projects to be built there. There was only one. They woke up, people went to work, there was nothing there. That's where they parked their cars from Denny's, and all these other places would park there and then go to their wherever the fuck they're working. And they go, we showed up, and there's just all hotels. Brand new. They're all here. What the fuck is this? But they're empty. Then they start filling up. You're like, wait a second. What? So the newspaper article says people claim this area was empty, and there's proof. People have pictures, photos in the parking lot, and all kinds of shit. And then it's not that. And nobody's talking about it. But when I was there with Chris, I said to him, there's a CERN device under. I felt it. The energy, right? Part of my thing is seeing up and down. I didn't know at that moment that was what my ability was, but that was just, it was like a complete knowing. And he was like, no, I know. This is why this is happening. And I'm like, what? You know? So people could say whatever the fuck they want. There's proof all around us that weird shit is going on. So if you're in a digital, biological, raw, organic hologram, then the hologram's name is nature. Nature works for you, not against you. Your source. You're the whole code of the nature program and every other source code program. Anything that they could create or can be created. And we've done this many different times in many different creations. And now it's this turn. You know, and I'm going to be honest with you, just from my perspective, there's no way I'm going to let a fucking piece of shit robot from some other fucking multiversal structure or anything remotely close to anything like that start doing this to me and dragging me into something with demons and monsters and, oh my God, and mimics and digital holographic projections and then locking me away and putting me, you're out of your fucking mind. This has got to stop right now. Mole World's about to get an upgrade, son. Just like I'm woke. Yeah, I know. My guy just rolled around me. They're like, you guys are figuring it out. It just took me to be around enough people that have had these experiences talking about it for me to really put it together with what's going on. And then Sabrina Wallace was like, her information was the link to the whole thing. It was the other side. It's already developed. It's look, it does this. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's what I was looking at in the control board. From the other side when I was hallucinating. It was some of the diagrams she has. I'm like, that's what it looks like. That's exactly what's going on per person. So if you had everyone connected, it would look like lines inside a program, connect like wires coming down, connecting into each individual area in the person, like to your chest, down through the generator, up through the up, and then you see the pulse come through the system, boom, into you. Now picture millions of those all lined up perfectly, and then you get the Matrix. But in the Matrix, the AI was like a physical, you know, it was already the next level beyond that. Like you can't even tell in the movie The Matrix, you can't tell if they're even ever really in the real world or not, and how long it's ever really been, because it got so diluted and so convoluted. You'd have to like be in their scenario to figure that shit out or whatever. They never really know the proper time. They don't really know any of that shit. We know. We're not in it yet. It's not that deep. It's still not erect enough to do that to us, but erect enough to do this to us and to be part of the gate programs. So let me go back to the lady on the panel. She goes, you know, the gate programs are usually people with the negative blood type and green and hazel eyes. That's like the top like people, when you talk to them, that's what they are. So the statistics are rolling out this way. And I looked at her and I went, green eyes, they go hazel when I get angry. My DNA goes to Solomon. I'm like, I have every node and I'm A negative. I'm one of 6% on the planet. And then under that further, so that's the starseed gene. You start at A, right? So A negative. Then as you go down, it's like 2% on the next layer. Was that B negative or something? And then the next one, it's 1% of the planet, and then there's one other, just 1% alone, and that's it. So it's 8%. This is going to get back to the killer point, and this is where I'm ending it. So 8% of the planet has the star gene. All the human suits have it. The availability, like the DNA is in there, it's just not activated. But 8% have it. So if you put 8% out of 100%, we're surrounded by 92%. What are they? Who are we to them? It gets really weird, right? Now all of a sudden that 80-20 split that we've always talked about is really fucking close. It's like, wow. So almost 80% of the planet's not us, and could be rendered NPCs, aliens in bodies that don't know, that's having the experience as an experiment. The ones that do are in there. Then you have the reptilian agenda, the gray agenda, the agenda, all piling in here into this holographic space known as nature that we're rocking in right now. But it's still a hologram, which is how they're able to do the digital thing to you. They're capable of doing it because they know that everyone's in a hologram, and they rock the skin suits, and they rock in at that the density layer holds it together, and etc. You could just break down the whole thing. Like the reptilians, right? Like, so they'll go and have mind control and all kinds of weird, like they can make you freaky and get scared and enter your dreams. They could jump into your body like a demon would and try to take control. Yeah, that's cool. They have no common sense. And that's all they can do. So yeah, they're big, strong, they eat, and they do all these crazy things, but that's all they got. So when you could list it, you could list all the things a Draco reptilian can do. Fabulous and fantastical. That would be considered a superpower, plus what they are and all their techs and specs. That's cool. A creator unlocked is way more than that. They're stuck in their skin suit. They could only do this, which is why they like to jump into ours. But when they jump into ours, they don't have the God gene like that, which is why they have to be vampiric. So in nature, it's just vampiric. Okay. All right. So now I'm closing out on this. I'm gonna do comments pretty quickly, but notice like the script is playing out. The Epstein's Files was crazy. The Olympics went. All this anti-American, everybody's racist, against ICE, for ICE, ICE, baby, whatever. Like, see all this stuff is going on? The Olympics did a fucking giant satanic ceremony right in front of your face. I don't even think these ceremonies are satanic, because Satan isn't what is being, what they're claiming isn't Satan. That's Baal. Right? Satan is an energy. The Satan archetype comes forward to teach you about the energy. Thus, you decide to be aware and use it and learn about it. I've talked about how the color coding works with the energetic frequencies. And as you're learning, because it's all energy and we're all just antennas for the energy, the color that's associated will bring forth an avatar that would probably look like that color and come out and teach you about that frequency. And then you learn all this stuff. You like blend with that energy, and then when you're done, you put it into use in your real life. Then you begin the next frequency, whatever that color is. Out from that color or note that plays in that frequency, another character will come forward and teach you and guide you through mixing with that energy to understand it, on and on and on into all these layers. Satan is the far opposite side of the density. It would be like the lowest point with the black void energy. Like, so you go in there and it's blackness, and you're like, well, nothing exists. Do you see the color blackness? Yeah, well, yes. Then there's plenty existing in here. It's just a color-coded thing. Satan comes forward and he teaches you, like, bro, you make deals with me. I don't make deals with none of you. You see how it's a pit. This is a pit, right? So in the pit, you don't describe a blackness as a hellscape. You talk about it as a void of light, right? That's all you're seeing here is nothingness. And I'm like, yeah, I'm at the base layer. Obviously, I'm standing on something physical, but you can't go any further down than this. You're not digging through this floor. There's nothing rendered on the other side of this. There is nothing more. And he comes forward and goes, exactly. So it's the darkness, the black energy, and then there's shades of black energy, right? And it's how you choose to use it. It would be good or evil. So when people are up here in 3D, not having this understanding, they think these characters are just these, I'll drink the blood and do the this. You're getting some kind of interdimensional character when that happens. So Baal is not a god. He's a lowercase g. Like these are all false idols. A lowercase g ain't got shit on any of us. Only if you allow it. So no matter how fantastical one of them appear to you, or whatever digital render or holographic render appears to you, you are more than it. Believe me, for sure. Source would never do that to you or put you in a place that wasn't necessary for you to expand through that. Being aware of that, having the contracts that I have, I know that. So if I find myself in a place and it's a little awkward, the first thing I do is start asking questions. I don't run and try to fucking hide from it, because Source put me here because somebody's about to catch the FearLess beatdown, or I'm about to catch some new something, right? So maybe he wants me as a witness. Maybe he wants me to interfere in the ritual. Just knowing my personality. Ayahuasca did it. Why wouldn't he do it? Why wouldn't Source do it? Ayahuasca used to take me and a whole bunch of FearLess people and drop us into ceremonies, the darkest fucking things you've ever seen, where people are getting eaten. There were reptilians there. It wasn't just, I'm like, oh, look, they're ETs, not demons. The demons aren't giving them the info. The demons get a bad rap. And then I look weird for defending demons and Satan when I'm not a demon Satan guy. I'm just saying, you can't blame all of them, but this is actually what's going on. Every whisper isn't in your ear isn't a fucking demon. Do demons whisper in ears? Of course. But so does the AI, so does the reptilian, so does this one and that one. You know, the reptilians look more like the demons that are described than an actual demon looks. So, you know, these are the things that go on. And you need all this shit. You know, at some point, I just looked over, I saw that there's two orders of the sky gods and the earth gods and the sky gods. At any point in any time, any one of us was already these characters. Maybe we came in as these guys, these gods, lowercase g's and goddesses. Maybe that's all us. But we descended down. But the creator being in the human flesh, in the awareness that opens, is stronger than every god above and below. And so whatever this container is that's universal everything, you are that, plus that which sits somewhere else creating it. So nothing in the environment has shit on you. So one of my sayings for a while now, Source doesn't have enemies. Gods do, right? Only gods, lowercase g's, have enemies. I'm the whole thing. And I think the point is, the world's about to learn that from random multiple directions and beings like myself as a creator being. And I'm just going to say, get ready, because it's going to pop. I've tried to avoid some things sometimes and get away from it. I can't. When I focus here now on what's really relevant, it works. It's changed already. Everything's changed. The direction is changed. We can make the whole thing change. And as for more world, knowing this, now go. When you snap out of it in more world and have the recognizing, all right, this is weird, but for those that recognize and make the statements that we recognize we're in there and you can call to us, do that. You feeling like you're in the dark place in there or the weird spot or there's something going on, call to the person. Yo, it's a digital space. It's not real. Call out to the characters that are awakened and see if they roll up. See if we hear each other. See if we can combine and come together and wake up in there and do some crazy shit. Show the programmer of that place that he's about to lose it. He's going to lose. Because the space, it's not like taking over another planet. It's an area, a grid, locked in. We just descend in there and wake the fuck up and change it like trouble bubble. Boop, 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 hit the bubble. Everything just pops up on the table. Boom, 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 boom. Who gives a shit? It's digital. It's fake. Yeah, but it looks real, feels real. What? Like the real world, right? That we're finding out is fucking fake is what? Like it's just all hologram. But now you know, and you go into there. It's like knowing you're playing the game and putting the thing on. Oh, but it feels so real. But you still know it's a game, right? Yeah, and I have a mission, and I have codes, and I have cheats, and I can connect, and I can bring friends with me on the group missions. Let's go. If that's what they're doing to us, let's go. Bring it. Bring us in. We're ready. I'm ready. You ready? I see you. I grab your hand in there. Whatever occurs after that, in terms of, I don't know, whatever experience that goes on in that place, we wake the fuck up. Maybe it's easier to transform in the digital space once you take the pass lock off. Because we, on this side, we're like, yeah, you're supposed to fly, and you know, we're light beings, we're source, and maybe in the digital space, having that realization makes it work easy, like really easy, because it's a fake space. So you go in and you unlock, and you're like, fuck this place, and boom, you change it. Some people are distorting reality. Some people are making it rain. Some people are fucking phasing through things. Some people are using telekinesis. Everyone's using telepathy. Bots are instantly picked out. Instantly. You'll know that's not real. So other beings that are in there, you'll know the real ones from the fake ones. So if there is a real guy in there, a real flesh guy walks through a portal and goes in there and he's wearing the fake little mask and whatever, boom, instantly found. Shut that shit down. Break the code, break the port, break to this, break to that, change this, change that. I'm in charge. I'm the programmer. I'm user number one, bitch, not the other way around. You're going to learn that quickly, though, but that's why we're here. That's why we're here, is to teach that lesson, to bring it back online. So let's do it. Who's with me? All right. I know you guys have been in the chat doing some amazing things. I'm trying to go back to the beginning and just say hi to everyone, and I love you guys so much. Good, Lexi, you're here. Maybe you can send word out into Sabrina's direction. I was going to hit her up personally. I think this is the weirdest shit ever. But generalizing what I'm talking about with the digital twin, and then going there, as well as the sickness, because we already connected on that vibe. But I think more of this needs to be presented. Now, I can only push this and present it so much. I'm going to ask that anyone watching, of course, like, subscribe, share. I appreciate it. I don't get anywhere without it. But share this with more world people, to anything related to that, to people that are talking about this stuff that have partial pieces. Get this into their hand. Let them decipher what I'm saying and see if it works for them. If it doesn't, just move on. But the ones that it does, now is definitely the time. Now is definitely the time. Knowing is not only half the battle, but it takes the stress away. It gives you an understanding and a gnosis and a relax into the next part in ease. Oh, that's a game. Okay. It's a real looking game, but not as real as the real world game, but it's almost perfect. So let's see what we can what rules we can break and what rules we can bend and what we can shatter, right? Remember, they're watching you, so you feeling I'm being watched and all this. You want to watch me? Remember what I said about when I walk around naked, right? That's what I tell them on the whenever they drop me in on something, I'll be naked for some reason. And I'm like, if I'm naked, you guys are in trouble because I don't need a weapon. No weapon against me is going to work. I feel so secure that you're going to get beat that I came in here with nothing on to show you the warrior class and the elite ruling that you're all full of shit. Now you're going to worry. So now that we know this is digital, you got nothing to worry about, right? Oh boy, this is crazy. And it's only going to get crazier. And they're going to present to you things that are even crazier. But remember, last week, it was conspiracy theorists telling you for the last so many years they've been eating babies and doing rituals. And you're like, yeah, no, they're obviously not doing that, conspiracy dummy. And then they're eating babies is what they're doing. What else are they doing? Come on, guys. This is we could turn this into the fun part. While their old order crumbles, we just help forward the program and don't let them take anything from us, our birthright. Right? You just don't let it. You're strong enough. You can break the conditioning. I use psychedelics to break the conditioning. There's a lot of other ways to do it, but that's my way. So don't judge, just do. Take in the information that works and move on. You move through this place a lot quicker, not sitting in judgment and worry. And we all do it. Keep sight. Mole world, digital twins, copies, digital sicknesses, towers that do this, technology that in us in the exterior, to products and things in the sky we're breathing. And okay, how can we, because there's a lot of stuff, right? So much going on, right? Plus clones and robots and your mother and UFOs, and I got to pick up cat poop and dog poop, and this one's got to go shopping, and this one, there's a lot going on here. But now take it back. Saying no is powerful. So powerful. Well, then you have Neo just putting his hands up and the bullets just fall. There's no more dodging these bullets. This doesn't exist. So anything that's not consciousness in this place cannot do anything to me. And anything that's consciousness in this place is working with me. That's how you got to look at it. And you break free, piece by piece by piece. The place isn't as big as an entire Earth, so you don't have to worry about that shit. Not probably everyone's in there if they're gate program people. But maybe they started with the gate program people because they're the ones with the DNA they want. The 8% of the negative blood types, which is why they're like collecting that, which is why we get abducted. And I have 23 different DNAs in me from different species, which is why I'm dealing with all kinds of shit nonstop. Because everyone's got something in this game. And the universal structures and my contract and everything else. So just keep this in mind. I hope this was an enlightening broadcast today. I miss you guys. I really do. I got to do more. And I got to actually go because I got to eat something. I feel like I'm going to die. I want to say thank you for everyone. And then if anybody has a questions, I'm going to go over this later and respond to it if there's anything that needs to be responded to. But I appreciate you. And you could always contact me on Facebook. And you can contact me on X. Check out Sons of the Suns music. It's SUNS of the SUN. Like, subscribe, share, and please get this into other people's hands. I feel drained of the information now. I feel like I got this information out. It's very important. Put this on the table and then put this in your pipe and fucking smoke it. And let's get to work. Next time you're down, if I'm in there and I see you guys, I'm screaming. I'm getting to work immediately, and they're not putting me down. They can't put me in a place that would, oh, he's resisting. Okay, good. I could jump out of my body and jump into your body now, knowing that you're a digital piece of shit. So I could hijack you. See how this works? Right? The spirit is the ultimate energy. All right. Stay fearless, everyone. And remember, the universe rewards bravery. All right? Tune in and turn it up. Let's go. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for spending time with me tonight. Peace out.